Greetings and welcome to the Art of Rising, where we are exploring leadership, transformation, and conscious visionaries changing the planet. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the podcast. We've become very popular locally and overseas in Holland and in Zimbabwe, actually. So thank you so much for tapping in. And I like to think it's because we are providing this platform for powerful people to share their story. And I happen to have one of them right here. Yeah. So, sister, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I met you at Nicholas Brooklyn. Shout out to Nicholas Brooklyn and Monique, what they're doing over there. Please introduce yourself and your name, and it has spiritual deepness and meaning. Perhaps you can tell us about how did you come about receiving the name and things like that.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I am most honored. It is a beautiful podcast from what I've seen so far. Thank you for having me here. And so I am Priestess Yendys Nefer Atum Oluwatoyin. And I will go backwards. Oluwatoyin means God is worthy of praise. And I received that name most recently in Nigeria. Myself and four other priestesses, three other priestesses, we traveled to Nigeria on invitation to speak at a conference at the University of Lokoja. And during that visit, the high priest they saw fit to bestow spiritual names on my group. Uh, the way that the names were given, it was an oracle system. I actually saw the high priest sitting away from my group, but he was observing us and he was writing something on paper.
Mm,
And then I saw him rip that paper into little pieces and fold them and put them into a bowl. Then a high priest was invited to come into the space and take this bowl around to each of us priestesses, and we actually picked our names. But
mm,
each one of us, as it is divinely aligned and guided, each one of us picked the name that suited each one of us. And
mm,
for me, Oluwatoyin, giving God the praise every day, all day, like I breathe, that was right in alignment with me. It was right in alignment with me. I could, and even the sound of it. It's easy for me to sing. I sing Olua Toyen, Olua Toyen. I sing that daily. You know what I'm saying? So that is that most recent gift, that most recent embodiment. And then there is Nefer Atum. Nefer Atum, the lotus, the hidden, the beautiful, um, the potential. I That was bestowed to me by High Priest Queen Afua, who was is a well-known author, a midwife of health and wellness. So I had the honor of taking ritual with her, the Sacred Women Rites of Passage,
mm,
the becoming a practitioner of healing as well. So part of the training was the initiation was taking her through a meditation. Like each one of us were assigned with another task. So mine was to actually sit with the priestess and develop a meditation specifically for her spirit. And we went through that. And when she came out of the meditation, she looked at me and she said, Nephratum, you are Nephratum.
mm.
So there is Nephratum, and I've carried Nephratum with me. There's something when the elders see you, the elders,
Mm.
you,
Yes.
so you can
Yes.
trust that. I can
Mm.
trust my spirit, trust that. And
Mhm.
they say that your name, you are to live up to the sum total of your name, reaching your potential, striving for your potential,
Mm.
learning, yeah, learning how much you can embody in this lifetime.
Mm.
Then there is Yendez. Yendez is it derives from a few places, at least three places I can think of right now. And I would say all of this is spiritual. It's all in the creation. Creation is spirit, right? So,
Yes.
so however you arrive at creation, you are still moving with spirit. So, my birth name is Denise. And if you can look really quick at Denise and change eyes to Y's or E's to Y's, you can find Yendys in there. Okay. You see the D, you see the Y, you see the N's, you see it. You see the S,
Mhm. Right? It's there.
Yendys is there. Okay. It is also the name of a really good friend of mine. It's Sydney backwards. Sydney,
Mm.
Sydney backwards.
Wow.
There was a show on TV back when I changed my name. It was called Alias, and the woman, she was like supernatural. You know, she moved with spirit. She had powers, and her name was Sydney. But I had
Mm.
already had the name, you know, from my brother and I saying, you know, I'm moving culturally. I felt like I needed. Spirit was telling me there was something else. I love Denise. I honor it. It's the name that my parents gave me, but we could tweak it. And I
Mm.
believe I kept the same vibration.
Mm.
If I asked my friend King Simon, I believe I kept the same vibration with even tweaking it, you know. So I didn't
Mm.
shift my vibration. So Yendys Nefer Atum Oluwatoyin, and then the priestess.
Mm.
The priestess, initiation, yes, the formalities, but also doing the work, doing the work on myself first, healing myself first so that people can see the light. Not that I'm saying, look at the light. I'm never saying, look at the light. I'm focusing on me. I
Mm.
would like to feel better in this body, in this vehicle. In the family, you know, they say the doctor asks you about your family history. Do you have diabetes? Do you have blood pressure? You know, I have all the things in the family, but one comes to be the link that changes that. And
Mm.
I am the one
I
who
love that.
came to change that. So tapping in when spirit knocks, to plant medicine, to eating healthy. Like this time of year would have been 30 years ago such a challenge for me. The spring equinox,
Mm.
the leaves, the flowers, everything about to wake up, sending out their medicine, which is in the form of pollen. It's medicine for the butterflies and
Mhm.
everything else that's going to help this forward motion. But for a human who has upper respiratory issues from past diets and, you know,
Mhm.
just not the right balance in the system,
Mm.
it's going to be an issue. So I had these issues. I had allergies. I was wearing masks years ago when spring
Mm.
came, before they were
Mm.
mandated for C-19. Now, what I learned from the wonderful teachers, the guides that I, in my incarnation objective, agreed to have on my path, people like Dr. Laila Africa, Queen Afua, Baba Heru, Angrasamai Sepatag, I rest his spirit. He recently transitioned.
Mm.
And Mama Tyoma, you know, the people that I walk with, who I garnered information. I was supposed to walk with these people. We're supposed to meet at this time. So the instruction and the information that I received from them was to heal myself first, because that's the first classroom, me. If I can change the molecular structure inside this body, if I can cleanse it, I can
Mm.
tone it, reprogram it, and eradicate these ailments, then I'm the priestess onto myself. I'm
Right.
the
It's the
healer onto myself.
temple. It's the temple. You got to take care of the temple first. Got to clean
The
the temple. Got
temple
to.
and the template. I'm the
Mm.
template. The temple and
Mm.
template. See
I
that?
love that.
Yes. So changing the diet. I'm from Barbados. I should say that. I'm Barbadian born, a Bajan. And you know, we have a certain diet, but we also have a certain atmosphere. We're surrounded by water. We have this the element, you know, air, fire, water, earth, ether. It's just right there. And growing up in that, children are allowed to roam, roam. There
Mm.
are parents and grandparents and friends of parents and grandparents. There's a community. So we're eating from the land where you're taking in a lot of starches. We like our coconut bread and our sugar cane and sugar
Mhm,
cakes and all these other
mhm,
things. You're taking it in. But the atmosphere, and you're running as a child, you're out and you're getting the sun and you're going in the ocean, you're getting detoxed, you're moving your body. So the atmosphere supports what we eat there. But
mm,
when we eat, not so good here, in that atmosphere, we're in a sedentary lifestyle and we have all this cold, we don't get enough sun. So it settles inside the body. And then you have this ease, you have this harmony, you know. So I was tasked with healing myself. And who tasked me? I remember one of my friends saying to me when I started to seek and I started to hear,
mhm,
one of my friends said to me, "Did the doctor tell you to do these things?" No, the doctor didn't tell me. There was a becoming a message. It was time.
mm,
Each one of us have our time. I can't tell you when that time is for each person,
mm,
but there are social distractions that we could miss that time. A lot of people miss that time.
mm, mm,
I
mm.
happen to be fortunate enough to be on the frequency that I heard it. I heard a
Right.
glimpse to
Right.
say,
It's
heal
the
yourself.
frequency. It's the frequency. We have to be paying attention. We spoke
Yes,
a bit about that offline about, just it's always there. It's always there. It's
it's
like
always
we
there.
can never disconnect from God. Like God is
Exactly.
always, we're always tethered,
Yeah.
right? The crown chakra or whatever
Yes.
you want to
And people
say
say that
about it.
um they're trying to become more spiritual. That's
Mm,
one I always hear. You can't become any more spiritual. You just have to be still and allow spirit to be,
mm,
and then
it's
move
already.
with spirit. You're already there. You're already home. You're already home.
Mm,
And
mm,
Queen Afua would say, and she has said this to me,
mm,
like you showed up this way. You just needed to have an understanding and receive the knowledge of what these things are called, what we call them in these times, in modern times.
mm,
Like names
mm.
for what you do,
Right.
names for what you already practice,
It's an understanding, right?
and
Like we
understanding,
couldn't
and
step
understanding as
into
well.
and understanding, right, which comes
Understanding.
with no language. It's just the language of who we are.
It's the
But
language of
yes,
the
I'm
soul.
aware of the words, and I try to be careful with the words that I use because words have power and those type of
Yes.
things. But it's just that communications with people, trying to explain to them something that can't really be explained, and
Mhm.
sometimes we need this modern day. It's
Yeah.
almost as if we stepped into ancient Kemet, like and started talking the way we talk now. They would be like, "What are you talking about?" you know.
Right, right. So yes, so
Mm,
the name is part of the lifestyle.
mm, mm. So perhaps you could
The name is the
tell us
lifestyle.
about that, about your lifestyle, the alternative, and how that makes a connection with this modern day priestess, because people
Right.
have all of these, preconceived notions about this.
Well, let's go back about maybe 35 years ago where it was just very simple. People were saying, oh, I'm going to become more Afrocentric. Afrocentric was the early term of tapping into what we sense, or what we see in pictures, what we see in maybe African stories, that possibly the way our ancestors lived, and adapting a more simple way of moving, detoxing our kitchens. I know that it happened with me when studying with Dr. Laila Africa, studying holistic health and wellness. I would come home from each session and look inside my cabinets and was like, okay, you got to go, the canned things, the more processed things. So you start to simplify. I started to simplify my life, especially when I received the knowing that I would be that one, starting with myself, to change the atmosphere inside my body so that I can alleviate myself of allergies, of what's another one? There is like my skin at the time, my skin was really, really going through it. What you learn that that means that your liver is really going through something.
Mm,
And it's like your house. Each part, each room in your house represents a certain area. And same with your body. You know, if your liver is having challenges, it's going to show up on your skin because that's the largest organ.
mm,
Um, if your hair is having issues, that all the different parts of your head relates to different organs in the body as well.
mm,
So they said we didn't come with a manual, but we really did come with a manual. You know,
mm,
the manual is to know thyself so that you
mm,
can heal thyself. It's sitting with yourself as well. And like, where
mm,
do you feel lack of energy? Where do you feel energy? Um, Changing the foods, drinking more water, drinking quality water. My lifestyle was letting go of the meat. I realized even from a young child, I did not like meat. You know, I was the last one at the table, you know, eating, you know, and so it was easy when I learned from someone who gave me a pamphlet on the train one day. It says 101 reasons to be a vegetarian. And I would say
mm.
when I got to about 10, standing on the train, leaned up against the door, reading this pamphlet, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a vegetarian.
Got it.
I
Got
agree
it.
with 10 things here. The first 10, I
Right.
don't need to be any more convinced. You know, if
Right.
something is logical,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to do that. So it was letting go of things that, you know, make a challenge for the body to digest, you know, drinking quality water, letting go of the sweets and the dairy and things like that. And
Mm,
you would be surprised that these things put a lot of mucus in the body. And
mm,
in
mm,
modern day time, as recent as COVID, this mucus remained nameless and they only refer to it as underlying conditions.
mm,
Underlying conditions is excess mucus in the body. So when we have excess mucus in the body, we're in trouble because
mm,
now we're magnetic. We can attract pollen, which will tell the medical profession that we now have allergies and we need to purchase over the counter remedies. We need to be put on medications for
mm,
breathing, but it's no cure. That's
mm-hmm.
not a cure because it's going to
Yeah.
come back next year.
Right.
But the mucus is still there. And then you're going to get the virus and you're going to hold it and you're going to take all these things, but the mucus is still there. So you're going to
Mm,
hold the virus as well. You know, so it's, I adhered to a lifestyle
mm,
that slowly but surely eliminated the excess mucus from my body. Like I
mm.
didn't keep putting it in. So then what
Right.
my body had started to break down and
Right.
come out through, you know, the excretory system.
Right. My lifestyle is plant-based food. I don't eat meat. I don't. I don't. You know, I I'm a flexitarian. If I
A
want to,
flex
I will. Right.
like that.
If I want to, but the industry is just filled with so much evil, devilish stuff that, like, even if I wanted to have a steak, I'm like, I don't trust it. I no, I won't.
Right. Yeah. I
But
would have a steak salmon.
a plant, yeah, right,
Salmon.
right, exactly. A
Yeah.
wild caught, right, right.
Yeah.
I try to look for these things when I do, but basically, it's for me, it's plant based, and then I do meet people that look at my lifestyle, like yourself, High Priestess, and they say, "Oh, how could you eat that? I can't eat that." And then I tell them, like, I didn't just wake up one morning and just be like this. It
Right.
took me time to learn about these things. What is it that I like? What serves me best? And it
Hmm.
seems like you've done
Yeah.
that also.
Yes. Yes. Listening, you know, listening inward. Like what makes the body feel good when you eat it or drink it? You know, like my friends would have, you know, sodas and, you know, the juices and or alcohol and drinks and things like that. And at the time we didn't have like all the juice bars and things that you could, you know, go and specify a specific drink with ginger and apples and celery and things like that. So my first crack at having healthy drinks was actually V8. Do you remember
Mm.
V8?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
That
course.
was
I
my
don't know. Yeah, yeah.
first. You
Yeah.
know, I
Mm,
know all the everything about it being in a can.
mm,
I don't have a horse in the race with it, but that was my first
mm.
attempt at knowing that a V8 as opposed to a rum and coke, a V8
Right,
as opposed
right.
to a Pepsi. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
but when I learned better, I did better. I learned
Mm,
that I could have a juice like that. I was introduced. You know, you meet the people along the way when spirit sees that you're seeking,
mhm,
that
mm,
you are
yeah,
ready, and you pick up certain things and say, okay, she's ready.
mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I remember speaking myself to spirit or whatever name you want to put on that
Mhm,
thing, and just telling it like, I'm ready. But like
mhm.
some things were not coming through. You know
Right.
why? Because I wasn't really ready. That's
But
why.
you were
I was
saying it
saying it,
when you
but I
do the
wasn't
action.
exactly. That's
Yes,
when
spirit
when
seems
it
to
sees it and it
respond.
goes, wait a minute, he really wants it.
Yeah,
Let's give him this. And
yeah,
then things start opening up. Oh my
yeah.
God.
So I started meeting people. I actually started meeting people that had jewels for me.
Mm,
And they weren't, I had to realize, because you would think that these people are going to stay in your life
mm,
for eternity, they're going to
right.
walk with you.
Right.
No, it's like baton passing. You meet these people so
Mm,
that
mm,
they give
mm,
you something. They have
mm,
something in their bag for you, and
mm,
they pass it, you take that, you sow that into your lifestyle, into your being. So there's been a long list of people
mm,
who respectfully, I'm honored, and I honor them, who passed
mm,
batons on to me, things that I could sow
mm,
into my life for
right.
me to become to
Mm,
become more of who I was the day before.
right.
And what I learned to do is, people ask, then I would tell them. I
Mm,
didn't run around like the town crier saying,
right. I
you should do
know.
this, or you should
Ah,
do
it's
that.
just yeah.
But if they ask, I have a lot of
Right.
content in here.
Right. Right.
In here. If they ask, be ready
Right. Right.
to
Right.
get the
Yeah, I
answer. You
know.
know, there's a lot to come forth.
I
You know,
have some good brothers too that, there's some things that serve them well in their lifestyle, but
yes,
you're trying to ram it down my throat, brother. you know, like
right.
that's not, like yeah, share if I ask you and we're talking and if it's relevant, but this forcing and strong arm, like it's not serving. But I did want to talk to you about the plants and because I could see that you're connected with that, right? Because we're
Yes.
in this environment of,
Let me
of a
see
living
if I can
organism.
turn. Let me see. It's a little backlit, but there are a lot of plants behind me.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I love it. I
Hmm.
love it. We have quite a number of plants here too. The wife, she's tapped in well also. But perhaps you could tell me about, communicating with these teachers,
Hmm.
and how do they serve you as medicine and spiritual allies?
Well, the plants that we call house plants derive from, out in nature. And growing up in Barbados, they were right there with me. They were like friends. I saw my mother taking care of plants, caring for them, and it was almost like she was so much at peace when she was taking care of the plants. It was a meditation. I now learn as I take care of plants. It's a meditation, and
Mm,
it's not so much like you feel like this plant is a person. You understand. You come to understand that it's a sentient being based on moods,
mhm,
moods in the home, moods with you. You start to notice lack or luster, you know.
mm,
Um, you notice when you drink water, you're looking around to see who needs water.
mm.
Because they're beings that you are caring for.
Mm,
So that it becomes a quiet communication. People say, how do you know to water all those plants? Or how do you water all those plants? They
mm,
never all need watering at the same time. By size, if it's a small little cup plant, a little, cutting or something, that's going to need water more often. But if it's a huge tree like the one you see,
mm,
the pot holds more water, so that can maintain and sustain its moisture for a longer period of time than this. It goes
mm,
back to the adage of drink 6 to 8 glasses of water per day. That
Mm,
doesn't work. It
mm,
doesn't work because everybody's blood volume, content, this and that, weight. So a small plant will drown with 6 to 8 glasses of water.
mm, mm, mm,
And a big tree, 6 to 8 cups of water is not enough.
mm. Okay.
So I learned from Dr. Africa, you weigh yourself. If you weigh 100 pounds, you're drinking 50 ounces of water. Then you
Mm,
divide that by half.
mm,
So
mm,
half your body's weight in ounces of water. So back to the
mm,
plants. Just a little something to say. If you say you're getting 6 to 8 glasses of water, based on your weight, you may just not be getting enough water. So wait, that's my cue to drink some water. Hold on.
yes, yes, of course. And
So
yeah.
yes, so the
Mm,
plants, they are they are teachers. They are teachers. They speak to patience.
mm,
They speak to accelerated growth when the season is right. And the season could be your particular season, your planetary season, your solar system, your solar season, or it could be just warm weather season. But
mm,
accelerated growth will happen when the season is right. And you also have to respect dormancy, dormancy in our lives. The plants
mm,
go dormant when the temperature drops. They're not trying to push out, they're not trying to process chlorophyll or produce, they're not doing any of that.
mm,
But I don't hear them complaining because they don't feel inspired. I
mm,
look at them and I was like, I know what they look like in the summertime. They're like, oh, and then I see them in the winter and they're like,
mm,
I have to respect that. I can't keep watering and keep giving vitamins and keep giving fertilizer and forcing them to. So I've had to learn that everything and every plant in its season, because there are some
mm,
that will still do, the work, but they're on another frequency. And
mm,
if you're on that frequency, then go ahead. Don't try to align with somebody else's frequency. If you're not on that frequency, don't feel bad.
mm,
And see, I see it on social media. You look at social media, you see people just outside, doing. And then you turn that inside and you feel like, why am I not doing? Maybe you're in your season of dormancy. And
mm,
you have to learn to respect that and honor that and
mm,
slow down. So that's how the plants teach me at different stages. I look at them, and if I'm not feeling an energetic spurt or a creative spurt, then I say, okay, I'm not in my season.
I love
Don't
that.
complain,
I
don't
love that.
complain.
I
Just
love that. That's
honor
a
it.
great metaphor as well. And
Yeah.
what about the spiritual aspect of it with the plant medicines, right? Because I see that
Medicines.
this has
Yes.
come up, right, in
Yes.
your bio and some of your background, and you've also shared a little earlier about some of these things, how they help and alter, and perhaps you
Yes.
could share some of that.
I can speak about that. I studied wild plant medicine with a woman named Mama Tyoma Allison. She has been here in Brooklyn for some years, and many of us here in Brooklyn and other places, aligned with her. And at this time, early spring, we would meet her in Prospect Park, and we would go on walks.
Mm,
And we learned that at this time, Mother Nature is so magical, so amazing that she already knows, coming off of humans, coming off of the winter, we took in more fats, we took in more starches, we took in more sweets and dairy to, if you have that lifestyle, to stay warm, to generate more heat in the body. But in the summertime, we need to throw that off so that we can cool. So Mother Nature sends up what are known as the bitter herbs first. The
mm,
bitter herbs naturally detox our bodies. It naturally breaks down the mucus. It
mm,
naturally, manages the blood, clears the blood, detoxifies. And so and they're bitter. We start eating the bitter to cancel the sweet. We
mm,
start to detox. We start to lose some of the weight that came, from just kind of sitting around. We get rid of the mucus so that when the next stage, the budding stage and the blooming stage of the plants and the herbs come and the pollen comes up, we are not allergic to nature. And some of these things that come up, of course, your dandelion greens come, of course, your burdock comes, your bitter docks come, your your thistles, your blue violets, and all the other chickweeds and things like that, your plantains. All of these young herbs come up to help us to ready the machine for the warmer weather. And if
Mm,
you miss that, then you're really in for some challenges during spring. And in the spirit part of it, it's like attuning your spirit and knowing that there's a divine source who knows, and that you can tap into that, and that you can attune your body to know that, okay, I don't feel like eating too much cooked food. The spring equinox just happened.
mm,
Something should be shifting for us if we are in tune, that no more eating heavy.
mm,
Ease up on the mac and cheese. Ease up on, the hot chocolate and the things that the breads, that things that have been putting, this mucus in the body, so that we can enjoy the warmer weather. We won't have the allergies, we won't have the heat rashes, we won't have the umbrella over when we're
mm,
walking, because we need this sun unlocks so much in our spiritual being, in our physical being, in our crown, in our first eye. It unlocks so much, and if we're hiding from it, because we're uncomfortable in the gut, and we're uncomfortable in our upper respiratory. We can't breathe. We have sinus headaches. We are out of alignment.
mm,
That lets us know that's nothing else but being out of alignment.
mm,
But we can get back there.
mm,
We can get
mm,
back there. So, also, what I learned spiritually and physically, if you have a backyard, check this out, and it's not all cemented over. If you and your family walk in your backyard, spend some time, lay a blanket, sit out there, eventually the medicines, the plant allies, are going to grow in your backyard, that you and each person in your family whose energy signature went into that part of the soil, those
mm.
plants are going to grow there for you. I've
Wow.
seen I've seen it with my neighbor. I've seen it with, and I've confirmed this with Mama Tyoma as well. Yeah, there was
Mm,
a part I used to do hair as a hair care practitioner
mm,
in my backyard, a few backyards actually. I've had the honor of taking care of a little plot of land in my backyard and grow food and things like that.
mm,
But standing behind a chair, a certain herb would grow right where my feet stood.
mm.
And when I started to take that herb, put it in my food, drink it in tea,
Mm.
I received more alignment.
That's beautiful. I meant also to ask you about um, the religious aspect of it, right? Because I'm sure that there's people listening and be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not with that. I don't know what that is. That's dark and it's not of God. Which is another crazy one that I always hear. I'm like,
Mhm.
everything's of God. What are you
Everything's
talking
of God,
about?
even the
Everything,
dark stuff.
even the dark stuff. Yeah,
We didn't
maybe
create it.
they say,
We're
yeah,
just here to experience it.
exactly, right.
And
So,
not everybody's here to experience the dark, and not everybody's here to experience the light. And we
yeah,
have to respect that as well. But
right.
I was raised them Seventh-day Adventist. As a matter of fact, in
Mm,
July, my family, who's very still staunch Seventh-day Adventists, we're having our family retreat in Barbados.
mm,
And I came up with the notion that because we come from the land, that in this family retreat, instead of us staying on the resort or,
mm,
staying where the tourists, let's go back to where the family came from, the parish
mm.
where our great grands and our grands and our parents
Mm.
raised us. Let's go back there, and I'm going to show them the herbs. So I'm going to remind them the herbs that our parents used to give us. I put that out there after coming back from Grenada last week. I was all excited, and I said, my family, we should go and do this. We should get our hands back in the soil and remember, and also teach the younger generation. So I put it out there with a lot of intrepidation. And to my surprise, it was accepted. They said yes.
Mm.
If I would, I have to create everything around it, but they accept it and they're open.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
to the religion. So yes, I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. Much respect for that, because our early stories, the early biblical the allegories, the what is it called? Uh, Bible, basic information before leaving Earth. It's basic. I
Mm,
went to Sunday school. I'll say it again. The Bible, basic information
actually,
before
before
leaving Earth.
Earth.
Yes. So that's I learned that early on.
Mm,
So it has a place. Whatever we have discovered, the lost books, the in books, the this wasn't right, that wasn't right, the
mm,
timelines,
mm,
you eat the meat and you throw away the bone. Okay? If it doesn't work for you with the vegetables, you eat the part that you eat and you throw away the rest that you don't eat, you know?
mm,
And but you build yourself, you create yourself as who you came here to be
mm,
using the information from me, I use from Islam, I
mm,
use from Rasta, I
mm,
use from Buddha, and
mm, mm,
most currently the seat that I sit on is Ancient Kemet.
mm,
And I call it a spiritual lifestyle as opposed to a religion. I
mm,
I learned and I've experienced that religion, the word in itself, is about tying back, holding back, keeping sedentary. But with spirituality, there's flow. We speak about flow.
mm,
There's spirituality, there's water, there's air, there's fire, there's earth, there's ether, there's
mm,
flow.
mm,
So
mm,
my spirit at one point needed to be sedentary with religion. I needed to have a foundation of
mm,
religion. But
mm,
at a certain point of adolescence, then the spirit said, okay, now you need flow. So I
mm,
don't throw it away.
mm,
I just feel like maybe the people who are religious can adopt flow and
mm,
on to religion. Don't throw
mm,
it away. Put it on as a foundation.
mm,
Like the tree. The tree has many branches.
mm,
So it's not gonna cut off its own root, to be
mm,
up in the branches. It need the whole thing. It needs the whole thing. The branches, the barks, the
mm,
leaves, the blossoms, the fruit.
mm.
There's enough for everybody.
Right, right. I was told one time that where some extraterrestrials would come from out of wherever, would come here and would look at us and be like, "What are you fighting over? You're more alike than different, like because of this little thing, a belief that you don't even really know if it's you don't really know. I mean, we like
What we were
okay,
taught.
we have faith and all that, but you don't really know. So we're
Well, you
gonna.
said a word, faith. As a person who my daily practice is not what I learned in church, it's
Mm,
listening to spirit and being moved by spirit. I have recognized that this thing, faith, is not really practiced by the people in religion.
mm,
There's still a lot of fear.
mm,
If you trust your God, if you trust the God,
mm,
why so fearful? Why
mm,
so fearful in work, in school,
mm,
in health? Why
mm.
so fearful?
Right,
Me, I'm not afraid of anything. I
right.
faith it. I
Mm,
faith it every
mm,
day. There was an
mm,
old term that says fake it till you make it. I
mm,
learned faith it until you make it because
mm,
source will meet you where you are. You do the most of the work that you can do,
mm.
and source through faith will meet you and do
Right.
the rest for you.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's always in the head, like, oh, well, what if, and what if, and what if the thing? I'm like, you know what? I see you. I see you. I see
Uh-huh.
you. I see
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see you. Mm,
I don't
mm,
fear.
mm,
I stopped doing that a long time ago, and I realized when you take this physical knowing, like the what if comes out of here, this physical human thing,
yeah.
take it and put it right here, sit it right next to you, and let source sit
Mm,
right there,
mm,
and then move with source.
mm. I love
It's
that.
so
I love that.
easy. It's like breathing. Like you
Mm,
don't have to think to breathe.
right.
Your body's just doing it
Mm,
based on certain sounds that you make. If you're laughing, you'll take more. If you're sad, you're going to take less. But
mm,
having faith is the
mm,
same as breathing.
mm, mm,
And I live a spiritual life. And what do I mean by that? I mean, again, faith and trust that if you put in the work of doing the best that you know, pick the head back and put it on here.
Mm,
You do the best that you can. There's a power that is recognizing, and you will be rewarded for a job well done to the
mm,
best of your ability. Magic happens.
mm, mm.
Believe magic, not the woo woo
Right.
cat in a
Yeah.
hat,
Yeah. Right.
half a lady, rabbit
Yeah.
and all
Right.
that. Not that.
Mm,
But magic happens. Magic happens in the fact that we wake up and open
mm,
our eyes and we had nothing to do with that.
mm. That's a
We had
miracle. Yeah.
That's a miracle. That's
Miracles happen
magic.
every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that you put a spoon of food in your mouth and
Mm,
you chew it and then you let it go to faith and chance. Where is it going? But
right.
it
Yeah.
processes and it
Mm-hmm.
helps you not
Mm-hmm.
starve. It helps your body not be sick if you're eating the right things. If you're eating the wrong things, it also helps you to be sick. But
Right.
magic happens,
It's,
Yeah,
it's the
magic.
it's the being aware. It's
Yeah.
be aware of these things, and it's an eye opener, no
Spirit is
doubt.
real. A spiritual lifestyle is real. Spirit is real. And spirit is you. It's
Mm,
the unseen part of you. It's not dark.
mm,
It's just your invisible body.
right.
During COVID, they told us to stand 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why that number?
Right.
Why not 10?
Because they know.
Why not two?
Right.
They know more. Somebody knows more about
Somebody
us
knows something. Yeah. That's
than
like
we know about ourselves.
that's what
And
I
what
told.
I learned is
Mhm.
6 feet above, six
Mm,
feet in front, 6 feet
mm,
on the side, 6 feet
right.
behind, and 6 feet down. They said bury 6 feet deep.
Mm.
There's that six again. That's the auric field.
Right.
That's the magnetic field. They were asking us to stand outside of
Right.
each other's magnetic field.
Right. Right. I usually
Now,
tell brothers all that stuff that they give us, they don't believe it. Nah, they got
they believe our stuff.
they leave our stuff.
Uh-huh.
They belong, but they're giving us that, for control and those type of things.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry,
So
continue.
now, so now, if we stand out of each other's auric field, and I just felt if we stand out of each other's auric field,
Mm,
herd immunity can't happen. We can't help to heal ourselves together as a community
mm,
because we're now disconnected. They're asking us to disconnect, come out of each other's auric field,
mm.
stand 6 feet apart. But because we don't listen, because we
Right.
don't listen, people were all up on you
Right.
online. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
get back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they say
Yeah.
stand back? Why are you so close to me?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're community, communing
Yeah, we're pack animals. Yeah, we work better together than
better
when.
together.
Right,
But
right.
somebody knows. Get them apart.
Somebody
Separate
knows.
them. Like put them in
Mm,
apartments. Put them in
right,
apartments and
right, right.
separate them. Make
Yeah,
everything
mhm,
square.
yeah,
The
mhm,
circle was always
right.
round. The
Mhm,
cells
mhm,
are round. No
right.
square things
No
inside this
squares.
body.
No, and stack them on each other. Yeah, it's
Yes,
terrible. It's
yes,
terrible.
and
They
they don't know each
disconnect us.
other, they don't speak to each other, they're in the
Yeah,
same community, they don't speak, but if
it's
you were in a
crazy.
circle,
Yeah, it's
speak.
crazy. I'm walking down the street, like I see you every day.
Yeah,
You don't say hi to me. I've said hi to you a few times, and you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. It'd
That's
be
the
sad if you
apartment.
needed help. Yeah, it's a part. It's in the word. It's a
That's the
part.
apartment.
Man,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then it speaks about these ancient cultures and how many cultures honored elder women and wisdom keepers. So
yes,
why do
yes.
you feel that menopause should be seen as a sacred transition rather than a medical problem?
Well, good you asked that.
Yes, yes. Let's
Menopause
get in it.
goddess.
Let's go. Let's
Menopause
go.
goddess. Yes, yes. Part of what I put here is there was always in ancient cultures and some traditions right now, you may know of this, when a young woman comes into season in her young womanhood and she has her menstrual cycle, her moon, her flowering. In certain cultures, there's a celebration that happens. The aunties, the grandmothers, they encircle her.
Mhm,
They may be special
mhm,
baths. They're definitely imparting wisdom on her. Each auntie is going to tell her something. Her mother, the grandparents, they're going to tell her something about how
mm,
what's happening to her, what
mm,
her body is able to do you know, how the changes is going to affect her, how she should protect herself, how she should wash herself, how she should care for herself. There's communion around that, and how now her body's different and she has to be careful with boys, and because she could become pregnant with child. um so all of this wisdom and preparation is given. But then you go through and she becomes the mother, and she raises her children, and she's married, or she's partnered, and then something happens, another change, because it's just transition, it's just stages. And the change of menopause happens, and she's alone. The same elders, because this thing happened to them, but they didn't have language for it, they didn't have agency, they didn't have a safe space, they didn't know what happened. They no longer saw the blood. There was no inscriptions left on the wall, so they kept quiet with it. They kept quiet for a while. you know Now you have the other side of that, where go a little further, and because of plant medicine, because of living the natural lifestyle, there was community around that. And when the woman stopped seeing her blood, and she had a lifestyle that allowed her to be more connected with the elements and with the earth, she understood that now she was now in a seat of wisdom and experience. And people would naturally come to her. Either they come for medicine, they come to listen, they come to ask her wisdom and her knowledge. So she now was revered as this this spiritual elder. She had knowledge, but that knowledge concrete and cemented in her after the blood became invisible. She went quiet for a little while. Maybe they thought, oh, that's the crazy woman. Something is wrong with her, because she no longer was adhering to the societal rhythm. So there's like, oh, leave her alone. Something's wrong with her. And maybe she settled down for a year or two. She was quiet. And then she came back radiant. They said, wow, she changed. Like, who is this? She's like a medicine woman. She's easy to talk to. She's at peace with herself. Nature also again comes back and takes a woman through what is, I'm referencing now, what the butterfly, the caterpillar
Mm,
goes through,
the chrysalis.
the chrysalis stage, which is also the subtitle of my book.
Mm,
Um, because we don't exactly know what is happening. The doctors haven't been able to pinpoint it, because it's so different for every woman. It doesn't necessarily have to do with how your grandmother went through it. It doesn't have to do with your diet and your lifestyle. A little bit, some of the symptoms, you can quell some symptoms with diet and lifestyle. But the spiritual and cosmology, the essence of this thing, is happening to every woman if she's lucky. Some of the symptoms less, some of the symptoms more. And but the arrival, there's an arrival that's happening. She's becoming seasoned. She's marinating in that quiet space. She may separate herself. Like I found when I was going through the latter part of it, I married, but I found myself sleeping on the couch.
mm,
No arguments, no bad words during the day, no disagreements. I just felt like I want to sleep on this little couch, this very couch right here, this blanket right here, this pillow right here, just prop it up and just stay there to myself. And my husband would come in and look, and he's like, "What's going on?" You're the man. Be like, "What did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong?" It's like, no, I have no explanation. I just know that my spirit is saying I need to be here.
mm,
It could happen for a week or 2 weeks, every other day. It's random. I don't even plan it. What that spoke to you?
mm. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. There's no language
Yes.
for it. And then one day you're back in the bed, but you come
Mm,
out of the chrysalis. You've
mm,
blossomed
mm,
now.
mm,
There's a power that comes with that, and it's not a
mm,
power to dominate. It's a power to stand up for yourself. It's a power to speak for yourself. It's a power to be guided by that higher spirit. This is the last quarter, for many when
Mm,
you deal with menopause. So it should be a time that your voice is your voice without
mm,
shaking. It should be a time that the wisdom and the experience and the challenges have fortified you, and you're
mm,
speaking from a place of authority. You don't know the most, but you're speaking from a place of your own experience, which has given
mm,
you authority. You
I
know,
love that. I love that.
yeah. So that I speak about that in the book. The book is not about take this for for sleeping better. There's some little suggestions, but the overall is to take this as an initiation and
Mm,
ease into understanding what is happening and how not to fight yourself, or now not to beat up on yourself, but how to feel the process, acceptance,
mm,
reclaiming,
mm,
understanding that you're being seasoned.
mm,
You're going in to come out like a flower.
mm,
But the going in, if we study the chrysalis with the worm, the butterfly, I read that that stage is kind of pitiful. The
mm,
bones dissolve, the everything dissolves. It's in there liquefied. It turns into a whole nother being. Think about a woman going through that while she's on the couch. She's going through that. She doesn't even
mm,
understand it. You know, the hot flashes for me was a way of detoxifying, because if you're not engaged in detoxifying the way we know detoxifying, your lemon water, your colonics, your lack of cooked foods, your juices, if you're not doing that, the body still needs to detox this machine. So it's going to give you these sweats, because the skin is the largest organ of purification, of elimination. So think about it like that. I'm being detoxed. And then maybe help it. Go to a bathhouse,
mm, mm,
go running, and help the sweat. You
mm,
know,
mm,
that's something that I did. It's
mm,
also the aches and pains. The aches and pains are inflammation from the sugar and the mucus.
mm,
Then they'll tell you glaucoma comes from the inflammation,
mhm,
arthritis comes from the inflammation, the
mm.
hip pain, inflammation, the back, the joints, the knees, it's all inflammation.
Right, right,
Go on an anti-inflammatory diet, lessen the inflammation. You
right,
want bread? Eat some rye bread, some
mm,
pumpernickel bread, some sourdough,
mm,
less inflammation.
right, right.
Juice,
Mm,
orange juice is the one with the less inflammation. More
mm,
water.
mm,
Make blueberries your friend.
mm,
Lessens the inflammation.
mm, mm,
So all of these things, and believe me, I had to physically go through them to
mhm,
come out on the other side so I can wholeheartedly tell you
mm,
that it
mm.
works.
So your book is titled "Living Like a Menopause Goddess," right?
Yes, the
So
chrysalis.
perhaps you can tell us a little bit more about the spiritual aspect of that. Like, what are women, what are some of the possible things that they'll be looking for to be coming up, and as opposed to be like, oh, that's weird, to be like, oh no, yes, I'm aware now in the book, and she's taught me this, and now I embrace it.
Yes, I would say an example of that is knowing, remembering that there's a part of you that is spirit, and it's not just, you're not just human. I know there was a song back in the day, I'm only human. Not true. You're spirit having a human experience. So a lot of this going through the menopausal journey is, it's asking you to tap back in and to remember that you are spirit, because most of what's happening to you, although it's manifesting physically, there's a spiritual transmission and transition happening. You're shifting levels. There's levels to this thing.
Mhm,
And so it's asking you to allow, it's asking you to embrace and to claim what you don't understand
mhm,
mentally, and in this human mind. Is asking you to trust that when you come out of this, it's going to be beautiful. You're going
mhm,
to feel authority over yourself, more agency over yourself, that you're going to be closer to your God self. or your goddess self. That's why it was downloaded to me to call it living like a menopause goddess. You don't be until it becomes, jump in. This is an invitation. It's a spiritual invitation to jump in to the goddess body and allow the transmission to happen, allow flow to happen. Don't fight it, don't medicate it. Here are a couple of tips on how to do that. You know, some plant allies that you can make your companions, some crystals that you can wear, some teas that you can drink while you allow this thing to happen. Like with a pregnancy, you can't see what's happening, but you know there's something magical happening in there that we have no part of except to stay healthy. Same with menopause. There's a becoming, there's a being that is you that is being worked on.
Right, right, and
We,
I appreciate that and all the knowledge that you're giving. It's much needed, right? That's you mentioned that earlier about basically in ancient times, like they would kill off the priests, they would kill or they would burn the books and all that. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
so some people, even from my lineage as well, there's some things that have come up, and why wasn't I taught some of those things, right? And I came to this understanding where people who spoke about those things, they wouldn't make it by the end of the day. They
Mhm.
would put them in the middle of the square and burn
Mhm.
them as example. All you
Right.
had to do that to one of them, and then the rest, they wouldn't teach that to their kids.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because of safety.
Safety.
Instead, you
Sure.
would teach them what those people are saying,
Yeah.
so that way your offsprings can continue to live.
I
But
feel like people are asking, they are asking because the spirit is stirring. The spirit is stirring, and that voice is becoming louder because they see how what's happening in the outer world around us does not dictate continuum. You know, it's like it's trying to go to an end,
Mm,
but
mm,
life is going to always try to perpetuate itself forward. And those of us who are willing and ready and able to listen,
mm.
the voice is speaking to you and is
Yes.
saying, come home to spirit, come home to
Yes.
spirit and allow yourself to be guided. And it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
Life has been beautiful.
we spoke about the free will, right? Many scriptures all around speak
Free
about
will.
that. Like, yeah, we can you could do you can listen or don't listen.
Right.
It
I,
doesn't. It's non bias. It's like,
right. I want to tell you this part for, our listeners
Mhm,
that I had a soft, unannounced book launch this past weekend. The books came into the store for the
mhm,
first time this weekend. We completely sold out, which is a very, very good thing. Very good thing. So now, Spirit, because people are asking me, when are you going to have a book launch? When are you going to have a talk around the book?
mhm,
I personally don't know, but what Spirit has already given me is the 1 year anniversary is happening in Grenada. I made a Facebook, I was guided to make a Facebook page. It's the Menopause Goddess, um, Living Like a Menopause Goddess
mm.
Retreat
Is that the one in 2027?
2027.
I caught
It's
that.
already being planned. We're giving people 1 year already out so that this can be done intentionally. It can be done
Mhm,
properly. The space is
mhm,
there. We
mhm,
just wish to align with women who really sense that this message is for them,
mm, mm, mm,
to
mm,
so they can join me on that Facebook page and
mm.
they can start, telling me if this is something that they feel aligned to, if they want to be a part of this
Yeah.
journey. And
Mm,
we're going to go into nature, we're going to breathe, we're going to eat well, we're going to
mm,
hold each other, we're going to have
mm,
language for what they're going through, whether it's perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. You know,
mm,
we're not saying, oh, you have to be, you can be arriving, or
mm.
you could have already arrived, or you can
Right.
be traveling, you
Well,
know.
I did want to say that the book visually, it's already visually stunning. I love it.
Oh,
Can we hold that up again? I love the colors and the like. Wow, wow, did you create that cover
no,
yourself?
Joshua Sarok. He is
Mm.
one of the practitioners. He was at Nicholas Brooklyn when we met. Also, he's the brother who deals with the mathematics.
Oh,
Amazing
yes.
brother,
Yeah,
Joshua
amazing brother.
Sarok.
Oh,
Yes.
We're gonna. I've been trying to get him on the show. Yeah, I know he's busy.
Yes,
He's busy.
he is the editor
Yeah.
of the book. The book actually took about started maybe 6 years, then I put it down, then 4 years, and I put it down. And then one day Joshua walked into the store and he just went like this, like, are we gonna finish this?
Yeah.
Because I put it down for a while because I became discouraged because I put together an evening some years back and I called it Let's Talk Menopause. I wanted to speak to women about the topic, how they were feeling, and to see
Mhm.
what I can garner, what else I needed to put in as a chapter. I
Mhm.
had tea, I had snacks, I had everything there. No one showed up. It was a free event at 7 o'clock in the evening, and I was there by myself. So I became discouraged and I said, why am I, it was a charge from spirit to write this. This is not one of the list. I have 7 more books waiting in the wings that
Mm.
I
Mhm.
picked the topic, but this
Right.
was not a topic that I picked.
Right.
It was
Right.
an assignment from spirit for
Yes.
me to do because we weren't talking about it. Melanated women were
Mm.
not talking about it. I did see in certain areas that Caucasian women were whispering in certain
Mm.
new age circles,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, Wiccan circles.
Mhm.
They were whispering about it and then they were a rumble around it, but
Mhm.
it still wasn't being spoken about in our areas until people like the celebrities, Halle Berry, Drew Barrymore, Sherry Shepherd,
Mhm.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Mhm.
When these women started to bring it to the forefront, especially Halle Berry for the melanated,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
then there started to be, some social media buzz. And that's when
Mhm.
spirit told me, okay, so you were early. You were like 4 years early. Now
Mm.
jump
Mm.
back in. And then there was Joshua who coming in and he says,
Right.
you have to finish this. He says, I know so many women, even myself as a man, could benefit
Mm.
because we don't know what's happening.
Oh my
So
God.
I
It's
was
crazy.
inspired there's a letter in the book, an intentional letter to the brothers to
Mm.
please pick up the book, read the book, and try to garner some understanding as we, the women, we are garnering understanding as well,
Right.
so that we can be more compatible with each other in our
Yes.
relationships, our couple relationships.
It's time. It's time.
Yes,
It's
it is.
time. I did. I learned about that because if you listen to the masters, it's already there. All the information they will guide you. But if you're reading, romance novels, then yeah, that's where
Yeah,
you're at. But once you're connected and you start learning and you start opening, you see that a great idea comes in its time. If it's meant to come out, if you don't do it, somebody else will do it. But it's meant to come out. And when you're in touch with that, the timing is beautiful. It's beautiful.
exactly,
It's beautiful.
exactly.
You're doing it right.
And I give thanks because this is an honor to sit in this seat, to produce this from spirit, to birth
Mm,
this
mm,
for the many women. It is an honor that I am still arriving at understanding the
mm,
fullness of it.
mm,
Yesterday, the client who I had a consultation with, she may just have been the foundation of what this is speaking about.
mm,
She's the first person who came for a consultation, and it wasn't her health, it wasn't what she was eating. It was trying to understand that she was on that couch and she didn't
mm,
understand why, and her husband didn't understand why. And I
mm,
was able to give her
mm.
a blueprint. And if she's the first one since the book
I
who
tell you,
came.
you make me emotional. It's crazy. It's
Yes,
crazy.
yes. And
It's
I
beautiful.
saw her menopause goddess emerge once she had language, once she had safe space to explain. And I said to her, I said, has she gone anywhere else with some of the things that she revealed to me that she was so vulnerable to share?
Mm.
Somebody would have put her on medication.
Yeah,
She would
fast,
have been
quick,
she would have been prescribed.
right? Yeah,
She would
prescribed.
have been
Yeah. Oh,
labeled the things that
one of the other women would have gave us some. Hold on, I got something for you right here, and she would
yeah.
have.
And all I did was listen wholeheartedly and
Mm,
have experience and information and authorship
mm,
to share with her and put language to what she
mm,
didn't have a language for.
Mm,
and she
mm,
may very well be the first one to sign up for the retreat next year. Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so powerful. And once we're tapped in, so many things come up that it's incredible, especially with books. I have a huge respect for people that write books, and there's books here waiting for me too.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
and it's about that thing, the timing. And there's some projects that I work on also.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, that's great, follow your passion, that's your dream. And I tell them, you know what, no, it's not. I have passions and dreams of other things, but some
Also,
of these things that I'm doing, something is telling me to do it.
right,
you know
right. And
yeah.
I feel like women are equipped for multitasking.
Mm,
Some men, yes, but I feel like the majority of women are equipped for multitasking, because
mm,
I mentioned I have about seven more books. I've had books that I have at least one book that was finished 18 years ago. The
mm,
only reason why I hadn't produced it yet is I'm waiting for the photographer, because there are pictures of me that I need his release. I need a price for the pictures that I can
mm, mm,
actually afford. So when this becomes a New York Times bestseller, and I can
mm.
afford those pictures, that will be the seed money to
Yeah,
fuel that
yeah,
first book that I wrote.
yeah.
And it's a poetry book set to artistic black and white nudes of myself when I was 35.
Mm,
So I've
mm,
written poetry. There's poetry on one page, and then there's a photo, an artistic,
mm.
very nice styled black and white
Beautiful,
image of myself.
beautiful.
And then there's one about a narcissist, an
Mm,
experience with a narcissist. There's one about wild plants. There's one
okay.
about the wild plants that grow in my country in Barbados. So
Mm,
there are a few things, there are a few
okay.
books that are coming. Yeah.
So
You
so
asked
we're
me
gonna.
something about
Mhm,
living. I'm not
mhm.
sure if I answered that one. Occurring as a priestess in modern times.
Yes, yes, if we can,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
What
Mhm.
am I doing?
Yeah, because some people would say, hey, come on, what are you, cutting
Mhm.
chickens, or you're throwing bones on the
No.
floor, or like, it's
No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just really making sure that, first of all, I monitor my output of energy. That's one thing. Because people will approach me and start talking. It doesn't matter if I'm doing something with my hands or what have you, they'll approach me and they'll feel like, start talking. And as a priestess, if I haven't gathered myself before I came into population, before I came outside, I'm not going to have patience for that person. And my response to them will not be nice. So I have to make sure that when I leave my home, my rituals are finished. What are my rituals? You can start with a bath or a shower, but now they're intentional oils, they're intentional colors that I
mm,
wear. If today is in fact Wednesday, then the color of the day is Wednesday. That's also another book that I am in the process of
mm,
writing. It's called The Color of the Day, and that's something that has it has a comedic background where I was taught it, but I've also seen it in Wicca and other spiritual
yeah,
lifestyles.
well, you
That
know where they got it from. Yes,
yes,
I'm
yes,
just saying.
yes,
I'm
it
just saying.
comes from the great.
That's it.
Yes. so 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 it's the color, it's the crystals, it's
Mm,
what's going on with the crown.
mm,
It's what I put into my body. Like I have my water, I have some herbs steeping in the kitchen,
mm,
and my tonics. Or sometimes it's just tea, it's just water, maybe it's a fruit. It's listening to spirit for the guidance for the day. It's not putting on the TV, it's not putting on the radio and dancing my favorite song. It's
mm,
not any of that for me in
mm,
preparation to go outside,
mm,
because I have to be a clear, ready vessel, but I can't do that unless I am fully poured into, and I'm
mm,
fully gathered, and I'm fully in alignment, so that I can now go out there and be the
mm,
Libra, the double Libra that I am, Sun and Moon and Libra with the Pisces
mm,
rising. Yeah.
mm. That's
So
beautiful to guide women in that way. I
people,
mean, even
children, yeah,
yeah,
men,
even for myself as well. Like
yeah,
this notion that I am more than what I think I am or what society thinks of me, you know, can be a challenge, but I've come to the understanding that I am that. Whatever you could put whatever label on it,
Hmm. Hmm.
I like to think of myself as a transformationalist. I'm helping
Yes.
people to transform, because this is the language that we're
Yeah.
using. If I'm walking around like, "Oh, I'm a healer, I'm a healer," well, do we heal or does God heal? So sometimes there's that thing, where
We hold
people
space for
go,
that.
"Yeah, you're not,"
You're not
when,
doing
when,
the
when
healing.
really, when
Yeah.
really, yeah, we're the vessel.
We're the
So
vessel for it.
whatever source, pours
Yes.
into me, and I'm open. See,
Hmm.
I open my vessel. That way, when I receive this, I'm able to give it to people or to
Yes.
guide them
That
in
you have
that
enough.
way.
That you
Right.
have enough also,
Right.
because you can't pour from an empty vessel. So
Mm-hmm.
the vessel has to be, a storehouse for
Mm-hmm.
this energy to come through, to hold space for the person. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, if you are not, together and gathered, you won't be able to hold space properly. You'll be abrupt, you'll be dismissive, you'll be guarded, things like that. There's a certain level of guarded, but you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
um and I wanted
Eh,
to say this.
mhm.
I say healers, be aware that they are pouring from an empty cup, and that the client or the patient will suck the last life of you out of you
Mm.
if you are not prepared for what your client is coming to you with.
Mm.
And people get depleted, they take on the sickness of the other person
Mm.
because they're not fortified, they're not
Mhm.
gathered, they're
Mhm.
not in
Mhm.
alignment,
Mhm.
and they can become ill. It's
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
a dress up. It's not the jewelry. It's not the
Right.
shells and the crystals. It's not
Mhm.
about any of that, because I've
Mhm.
seen that in places. And then when you go into nature and you go into, other dealing with something that they should have the capacity for,
Mhm.
they can't.
Right. I know.
So
I've
it
I've
wasn't the head
experienced
wrap.
that.
It wasn't the locks. It wasn't
Right.
the crystals. It wasn't the guard.
Right. Right.
It
Right.
will surface what it is and what it's not.
I,
You will
I've
be
I,
tested.
I have experienced some of that sort of depletion of energy. Like
Mm,
I remember when I had first started, because you get start being aware, and then you want to help people, right? It's just like
mhm.
buying a nice pair of shoes. You just want to tell somebody
You're
these shoes are
excited.
great, and you want it right. So you go like, and yeah, one case came up where the woman had lost her son in cancer, and you could just see the energy on her. And I was trying to help to be a part of putting this thing together and
Mhm.
speaking with the woman and all of that. And I remember coming home and I was so drained and depleted. I
Wow.
just went to my knees, and my wife just started smudging me and moving energy. And I was like, man, this is too heavy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
too
yeah.
heavy. It's like
Gotta be
I'm
careful.
not. Yeah, I'm like I'm not
Yeah,
ready. Hold on, So now I'm
yeah,
more guarded. When
yeah,
people come into my circle, I'm like,
yeah.
nah.
Like when I finish with my weekends, it is customary for me as a priestess, as a person, as the shopkeeper, it's customary for me on Mondays to either go to the bathhouse,
Mm,
go sit in the sauna, the steam rooms,
mm,
and just the cold pool, eat some soup, drink some tea, take some fruits. And
love it.
that has been a practice also some 20 years back, and even to, current time, that's a practice. That's how I pour
Mm,
back into myself. That's how I detox some of what I might have picked up. And it's
mm,
also a time where I go into that chrysalis. I put myself in that
mm,
cocoon
mm,
of not speaking, because for 4 days I was nonstop giving information, sharing information, receiving, greeting, holding a certain balance, greeting people into the store, because mine, the apothecare, a play on the word apothecary, um, the apothecare is healing unguents and potions and herbs and things like that. And care is because we do care. Um,
mhm.
I welcome people in. I say, greetings, happy Monday, happy Saturday, happy Friday, happy spring equinox.
Mhm,
Change it up.
mhm, mhm,
Sometimes people will respond happily, and sometimes they don't say a word because they're walking into an establishment with ears covered.
mhm,
You
mhm.
don't walk into any place with ears covered, because they could be cursing you out. They could be saying,
Yeah. Oh,
"Help, help,
yeah.
help. He got a
Right.
gun."
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could
Or
be
go get him. Get him. Yeah.
They
You
could be
didn't hear
saying
that.
something and you walk in and you are oblivious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where you learn that at, to come into a
Mhm.
place unaware, to go
Yeah.
anywhere and to be
Yeah.
unaware. Have one. If you want to be
Right.
listening to something,
Right.
have one
Hmm.
covered so that you can be aware of your surroundings,
Or acknowledge people
and
when you step
acknowledge
into
when you
a
come in
space. There's
to a
energy.
space.
It's not yours. No, you stepping into it. Like, at
Step
least
into,
acknowledge.
you
Oh,
know,
you
I
see me? You see me? I see you too. Hello.
Yes, yes. Namaste. The
Namaste.
divine
Yeah.
in me greets the
Right.
divine in you.
Hmm.
So, everything is intentional. Everything is intentional. So I give, I'm open to receive. And when Monday morning comes, I am horizontal. I'm not in a
Mm,
rush to get up. I'm not in a rush to talk to anybody.
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing
I
anything.
love
That's
that.
a time
I love
to
that.
practice the art of doing nothing.
I love it. I
It is
love
an
it.
art.
Yeah.
It is an
So,
art. Mhm.
I know that we've been speaking a while, and I could speak to you forever. Wow, such information and jewels. I love it. But, I did want to top it off with Ancient Blends Apothecare, about the store that you have. It's located in Brooklyn. Let's give them the address, and then tell us what goes on there.
Okay, and one of the questions was, how did it come about? It
Mhm.
came about also another assignment. When you're open, I worked at home for, at this point it was 36 years at the point of opening the store. Now, we don't always have the bird's eye view, but spirit always does. Spirit literally physically opened the way for me to move from one place, which is across the street, into this place where I'm staying right now, which is above the store. I was
Mhm.
physically moved. Okay. And this place under me was closed for 8 years. My birthday is October 8th.
Mhm.
I look at the
Mhm.
numbers. The address is also adds up to a 6. It's the number of the healed and the healer. The address is 357 Madison, where I live, and 357 Tompkins Avenue, where the store is above, right over there. So the healed and the healer. And then 3 months after I opened, we got news about COVID and a shutdown. 3 months after the store opened. So, what that told me about the 3 months, the community came into the store at least once, twice, or 3 times in that 3 months. And they knew that this was going to be their essential store when that language came into being.
Mhm.
Where can we get our herbs? Where can we get our plants?
Mhm.
Where can we get our natural things to help us feel better through this trying time? COVID could have been seen as the worst of times, but for many, it was also seen as the best of times. It was the unplug that we didn't know that we needed. It was the reset, literally the reset. So the apothecare, now 6 years in, the healed and the healer, had
Mhm.
just produced a book as another product, but the products are plant-based, wellness, uh,
Mm.
conscious spiritual tools to anoint, to heal topical things like eczema, acne. There are teas to set the inside for purification, for stimulation. There's a hair care, there's beard care. There's candles, incense, sages, things for the home care. And there's a priestess that sits there, and sometimes she can assess what a person needs before they
Mm.
ask for it. And but I will let them ask. I don't jump in.
Mhm.
I just guide them around the store. This is what we have, because the place is so, I guess, magically adorned, aesthetically pleasing, and smells so
Yes.
good that when people walk in, they feel the sense of the vortex, the energy of the plants. So they feel like they forget that it's a store where
Right.
things are being sold. There's economics happening in here,
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
So, I mean, even the ceiling, 107-year-old ornate ceiling, the metal ceiling, is
Mm.
very artistic looking. So I ground them a bit
Mm.
after the welcome. I bring them down to the tables and I give them a quick couple of seconds tour around the store. This is what we have. This is what we have. This is for this. This is for that. And then I let go and I go back behind the counter and I leave them with, if you have any questions, I'm
Mm.
here.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then I let them. It gets like a museum attention. The people, they walk around like And in that walk around, sometimes they don't buy anything. And I've come to realize they weren't necessarily there to buy something. They were invited in because the space had something to share with them,
Mm,
to help balance them, to help realign them.
mm,
So it's not always about coming to shop and pick up a physical thing.
mhm.
It's about coming in and becoming aligned so that you can go back out. Yes.
I've heard some wonderful things about the store. Women
Yeah.
are levitating, and men too. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, right? This is a
Yeah.
Brooklyn accent, right?
Oh,
I'm in Jersey now. Met a woman, fell in love, got the kids, and this,
beautiful.
whole thing. And but my wife came, more spiritually aware of
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a train wreck walking. But she was
Mm-hmm.
always feeding me a little bit of things, and I was trying my best to drag her down, like, come here, and she was like, here, read this, and I was like, yeah, put it over there. And but then one day I started reading some of the things that she was handing me, and I was like, oh wow, I was like, whoa, what else you got?
Your
you
time.
know
Your
yes,
time, like the
exactly,
plants,
she opened me up,
we don't
she helped
all
me.
all wake up at the same time. And
Hmm.
it's okay. And we have to, as practitioners, we that has to be okay. That even our family members, everybody's not here to be healed this lifetime.
Mm,
And we have to recognize that and be hands off, but be ready when they do acts.
right,
The information will
right.
flow, the content will flow. Yeah.
So the store, what's the address on that?
The store's address is 357 Tompkins Avenue. We're right on the corner of Madison Street in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. The schedule used to be Fridays through Sundays, but this year I've added Thursdays. So we've
Mm,
got 4 days instead of three. And my reason for that is with touring with the Menopause Goddess, I will be traveling a lot. Just coming back from Grenada, I was there for a week co-facilitating with a beautiful young lady who is also going to be my co-facilitator for the retreat for the Menopause Goddess next year in 2027 in March. Also, I will be going to Barbados. I'll be going to Cairo in October and Thailand in November.
mm,
So more days in the store to be there, to be the advisor, to be the healer,
mm,
and to keep these products available for our community.
mhm,
Yeah, the book is on Amazon, but I'm not really promoting that it's on Amazon because I do have my own website, and the
mm.
website is shopancientblends.com. That's www.shopancientblends.com. You can also find Ancient Blends products there. Body butters made from cocoa butter and turmeric and shea, all essential oils, shampoos, teas, things like that.
That's
Yes.
beautiful. We're going to leave all that information in the show notes. And I love all of these things that you're doing. My lifestyle, I tried to keep it like that. I just recently picked up some shea butter with the
Uh-huh.
turmeric in it, and I mix it with a coconut oil.
Nice, nice.
And I whipped it up. This time I used the hand blender.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I did that for like half day. And then when I came out, it was so buttery
Yeah,
smooth.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I love it.
Fluffy, real fluffy.
Fluffy.
I would like, speaking of turmeric, I purchased something from you and I would like some more. You sell it by
It's
you
the
sell it by
firecracker.
the
Right, the firecracker. I
gallon.
love
That's
it.
what
I
you
have
call it?
some.
That's
I
what you
haven't
call it?
made. Yes, because
The fire.
I did, first we used to call it like a ginger shot, and
Mhm.
then it was something else that is very commonly, said. But
Yeah.
someone drank it one day and went, "Ooh, that's like a firecracker." And I'm
Okay.
like, yes, that's it. Thank
Okay.
you, thank
I
you.
really liked it. I felt like it definitely helped being a part of my morning ritual,
Hmm. Hmm.
preparing, getting my system gathered to
Yeah.
go into the store, it stimulated, especially during the cold time,
Mm-hmm. It's
So I
I'll
would
tell you,
definitely,
it's the firecracker. It's all
yeah.
organic,
Hmm.
fresh squeezed ginger, turmeric, apple cider vinegar,
Yes.
lemon, honey, and
Yes.
cayenne pepper. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
those anti-cancer,
Yeah.
anti-inflammatory, and the good tasting too. Like,
I would recommend that for your listeners, your followers as well, that right now at the spring equinox, that they can add that to their regiment for detoxifying and preparing for spring. I have something in the store called Respiratory Ease also. It's a eucalyptus and mint tincture
Mm,
that is a sublingual that goes under the tongue. I shared that at the retreat, called it Respiratory Ease into Your Day. And then you do about 7 intentional breaths really hard in through the nose and really hard exhale out through the mouth
mm,
to get that to circulate in the body. And what that does, like soap to grease,
mm,
it breaks up and dissolves the excess mucus.
mm.
So there's not that excess mucus to grab the pollen and the pollutants and viruses this time of the year. I
Right.
actually hear that COVID is still out there.
Mm,
So,
mm,
I'm like, I don't know. I haven't heard
mm,
anything about the flu. I haven't
mm.
heard anything about the common cold. I'm just hearing COVID now. So
Right.
arm yourself with your firecracker.
Mm,
Go to my website and get my respiratory ease drops
mhm,
and drink a lot of water and prepare to enjoy the warm weather. We are Mesu Heru, which is people of the sun. Mesu Heru, people of the sun. We can't hide from the sun.
mm,
The sun is there for us. Everything in moderation, of course. I'm not saying stay out like fried chicken. I'm just
mhm,
saying make sure that you get at least 2 to 3 hours of early morning sun.
mm,
Let it hit your crown chakra and your first
mm,
eye, your
mm.
palms, and
Yes.
the soles of your feet if you can.
Right.
And we eat the sun,
Mhm, mhm,
rays of golden sunshine. We eat that. My melanin is supercharged right now, is on the mountains and the beach of Grenada. Oh my goodness, that place is magical. It's
it's
magical. I can't wait.
paradise. Yeah.
I'm looking for at least 10 to 12 uh, women
Mm,
in alignment
mm,
with what's happening with the book, what's happening with them,
mm,
to join us at the retreat in
mm,
Sankofa Sanctuary in
mm.
Grenada. It's
You
on the
will.
top of a mountain.
Mm.
The air that you're breathing at the top of the mountain, and you fill your lungs with that, it's nothing. It's nothing
Yes.
like it. It's
Yeah,
nothing like
nothing like it. Thank you. We could go on for days. I love it, the information, and I have so many good things now to share with people, with the jewels that you drop. Thank you so much. I appreciate you big time. Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you.
having me. I'm so happy that this finally came into alignment, but nothing before its time, right?
That's right. That's right.
Nothing before
That's
its
right.
time.
That's
Thank
right.
you
So
so much again.
thank you.
Bless
Stay
you.
stay right there, sister. And for those tapping in, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, man. And see you